Hello and welcome to Home with Sarah Jane. Today I wanted to share with you a couple of things that I use throughout the years to help keep my homeschool organized. Now, some of these things I didn't necessarily use this year, but I either used them last year or in the past. It's just, I don't like clutter and I don't like things everywhere. It really stresses me out. So having a system or something that will work for you is sometimes a requirement for homeschooling. At least it is for me, because if things are all over the place, I get stressed out. That makes me not a good homeschooler. So one of the things that I use to keep things organized, for one, this is more organization for my brain, my planner. So this I use obviously to plan our homeschool. So having a planner, whether it's pen and paper, just a plain notebook, whatever, just something where you can dump all of your thoughts or everything that you and your children have done into. Because I found that before I started using my planner, I was all over the place. It was like we were still having fun, we were still doing what we were supposed to be doing, but I was a mess. So whether it's an online planner or a paper planner or just a notebook where you put your thoughts, something like this is very helpful, especially for organization of the brain. So the next thing that I use for planning, not for planning, for organization, is when I need to school on the go. A couple years ago, I was having some health issues and we found ourselves in the car a lot, back and forth to appointments, things like that. If it was an appointment for me, it was an appointment for my kids, always on the go. So I had purchased these. This one, my daughter was really into orange. I don't know if it's picking up orange, but my oldest daughter liked orange, so I picked up an orange one. My youngest has a pink one, and we keep these in the car. So all it is a clipboard with storage, if I can actually open it. There we go. This one's empty right now because I didn't want everything falling out. But we use this a lot on the go. They could put pencils, some worksheets in here. We can car school basically, if we needed to. So we would use something like this for in the car. It gives them a space to write, somewhere to put stuff. They really enjoyed that. Another thing that they would use, we would use this as well for car schooling, but we actually still use this one to this day. It's the latch. I think it's a latch. I'm looking down because I have notes. I think it's a latch. What is this called? Latch hook? No, that is a craft. What is this? I wrote it down. This is a latch. Oh, a latch mate. This latch mate bin. So this one is for my youngest daughter. Of course, she's pink. So it has a lid. This is a mess. I have not cleaned it out. But on the top, it gives you an area where you can put things. So she can have her own pencils, pens, flashcards, whatever she needs in the top. And then in the tote part of it is just all of her curriculum. So this is where we keep her math, language arts, spelling, all of her workbooks, things like that. In the bottom of it, it is a mess right now. But so this was really easy to just grab the whole thing and go in the car. But this is also how we keep her curriculum when we're at home, because she doesn't have a desk in her room. She still works with me all the time. So she doesn't really have like an independent spot other than a little reading nook to use for herself. So speaking of totes, these little totes, I got these ones at Target. I use these little plastic storage bins, totes. I do label them, you can't really see, but this one says Legos. But yeah, so keeping Legos, magnet tiles, anything basically, these totes, and they're stackable. I like these because you can store them under beds, you can store them anywhere. This is more for like their play stuff that we use for read out loud time. So I have all of their Play-Doh in a bin, I have all of their Legos, magnet tiles, just all of those types of things are in these types of totes that they could just stack. And again, like I said, they could go under beds, they can just stack up in a front closet or something like that. So I really like the totes. One of my favorite ones that I've been using for a few years now is this one. This is a photo storage case. I do use it for photos too, but not for my homeschool. This one I turned into a craft storage bin. So what I do is I have the bins in here that are supposed to hold pictures. I have them labeled to hold different craft supplies. So this one says Google Eyes. So when my kids are crafting, they can have all of their craft supplies in one area. Let me go ahead and flip the camera and show you. So in this bin, we have a whole bunch of just different craft supplies. When my kids are doing something, they could come in here and see that we have balloons, feathers, foam stickers, Google eyes, bells, you know, clothespins, glue sticks, pom-poms, buttons. We have gems, foam sheets, craft sticks, some more pom-poms, and some pipe cleaners. So this is just an easy way to keep those things together. Another way that I've used these photo storage caddies, I don't know what to call them, totes, is not just for crafts, but also for flashcards, for math manipulatives, anything that you have like little pieces to, really, you can store in these. And what's great is it can be on the go as well if you wanted to. So you can have like a craft station to go, you know, if you're traveling or anything like that. Again, like I said, I used to use them for flashcards and for math manipulatives. I currently use them for crafts, photos, and for my seed packets for my garden. I'll have different seeds for each little storage section on the inside. And the good thing about these too is that they do come in different sizes. This one I got on Amazon, and this is just like the white one. I think they have like a color, like a rainbow one too. But they also have them where you only have like half of this, and then even smaller. So they come in different sizes. I got mine on Amazon, but I also have picked some up at, what is that store called? Michael's. Michael's craft store, I've also picked them up at as well. Now, another thing that helps me stay organized are these zipper pouches. If you've watched any of my other videos, you might have seen some of these in there. But I use just these different size zipper pouches to store almost everything. I use them when I travel, but for my homeschool, the way that I use them is I'll put my unit studies that have a whole bunch of different little pieces into a zipper pouch together. I don't know if I have one as an example right here. Where did I put that? I don't even know where I put it. I don't know. It's the end of the year. I don't know anything. But anyway, we're the end of the school year. So I'll use these zipper pouches to hold like my science units. These smaller ones will hold like a deck of cards. I use them to store games where they have broken boxes. And then I've also used them to store puzzles. So we use them all the time. I always have them on hand. I got these on Amazon and they are really great. I just recently used them when we went to the beach to store wet clothes in when we were on our way home. So another thing, and this is, I mean, mine are like 8 million years old, so these are really banged up, but these magazine holders. So magazine holders, what I do is 1 year before I had my morning basket, what I would do is I would put each kid's individual work in one. So like this one would be for Bella and I'd have another one for Lydia. And then I'd put it on the top of my cart. And then we would have one for history and for science. So we were able to keep everything organized this way. So these are really helpful. We just have moved beyond this because my oldest daughter no longer has a lot of her work with us. So I will show you how she organizes her stuff. And with her, she uses her desk. So Bella, my oldest, she is kind of a mess right now. We haven't cleaned out for the end of the school year. But she will keep her curriculum in these drawers in her room. And so I don't really have to worry about it. Now I know a desk isn't always feasible for everybody. It just so happened that we used to have a homeschool room. We used our spare bedroom as a homeschool room, a classroom, and it was great. But we found that we never used it. We found that we would always go downstairs and school around the dining room table. So that's when I ended up getting the homeschool cart and Bella her own desk, because we ended up giving our girls their own bedroom. And Bella, you know, had more space now, so she got a desk for her room. So that desk has made a huge difference because it has the drawers and she could just store all of her stuff in there. Now with my youngest daughter, she still uses that Latchmate tote because she doesn't do her schoolwork, any of her schoolwork really on her own. So she's still with me primarily, I would say 90% of the time, because we do language arts together, math together. Her math is pretty independent, but she still comes to me a lot with questions. But yeah, she's just not ready for like that independent break, and she wasn't interested in getting a desk for her room because then she was worried about the lack of space because of her bearded dragon tank. But that is okay. So if you don't have space for a desk, that's fine. The Latchmates work really well. Using a homeschool cart, which I'll insert a little clip And this is the cart that we use downstairs because we do homeschool at the dining room table. So we have art supplies at the bottom, my youngest daughter's curriculum, and then our together like morning basket and games. So right now this cart is actually set up for our summer science station, but these carts are super handy and just help keep the clutter away. So that's another reason why they're one of my favorites. Using a homeschool cart is really, really helpful as well. It keeps things really organized. And you could pretty much school anywhere. They just roll around the house with you. If you don't want it out because company's there, roll it into a closet. That's what I do. And honestly, most of the time I just leave it out. I don't care if people see my homeschool cart. But if you like to have things kind of put away, a homeschool cart is a really, really great option because it just rolls out of the way. And I have two different sizes. I have the large one and the small one. I'll try to show you both of them. But yeah, so, and we use our carts for different reasons throughout the year. So we have a summer homeschool cart, we have a regular, school year cart, we have themed carts. So yes, we use the cart for everything. Another thing that I use to keep our homeschool organized are different types of binders. I love binders. So we had a couple of letter subscriptions one year from Heritage Letter and then from Writings from the Wild. So what I did is I just took basic binders and I, printed out a little page to identify which one it is. And we kept them in here. So there's just, for this one, this is the Heritage Letter. So you get a letter in the mail with like a little picture and little biography of the person. So I just put them in these little protective sheets and just keep them all together. When my kids want to read through them again, they can. This was another way that we did biographies. Not that that's a way to organize anything, but we would subscribe to the Heritage Letter and then focus our month on the person that was in the letter. But anyway, that has nothing to do with organization. But yeah, so we just kept these letters inside the binders. In page protectors, and we did the same for Writings from the Wild. So yeah, you can see we got the little letter and the little card there, and whenever my kids want to look at these, read them, they're available to them. Another way we use regular binders are for holding our schoolwork, our past schoolwork. I do not keep all of my kids' schoolwork. We pick out our favorites a couple of times a year and we store them in these bigger binders. This one is Lydia's. And so again, I just use page protectors and we just keep their favorite work from the year in here. It's all in one spot. What I like about it too is when I started this, my kids were in Bella was in kindergarten. So it shows their work from kindergarten until now. So the further you go, you get to actually see their work, change. And it's kind of a moment, Anyway. Another way I use binders is I like these flex binders. They're binders that you can turn all the way. Because I'm the type of person I like to flip the book this way. I don't like to have like this in my way. So these flex binders are really useful. You can use them for pretty much anything. This one holds every single answer key that I will need for my kids' work. So this one has all of their answer keys in it, and I just individually labeled them and used cardstock as dividers to, separate the different subjects and stuff like that. So this makes it really easy. I have all my answer keys in one area. I don't have to run all over the house trying to find the answer key to math or to language arts. It's all in here. So this one actually fits both of my girls' answer keys, so I only needed one this year. So that was nice. But another way I use these is for worksheets. So I have a flex binder for their worksheets. And again, this one fits both of their worksheets in it. So both my 4th grader and my 7th grader. We only pretty much use worksheets when I need to supplement something, like if they're struggling in an area or things like that. My kids' area of struggle changes each year, so the worksheets will change each year. So basically what happens is I will buy some kind of workbook to help in an area that my kids are struggling in, and I will tear that book apart, hole punch it, and put it in this binder. So that when my kids need help with sentence diagramming or editing or reading, it's all in here. They'll have different like math concept pages, worksheet pages in here, but it's all in one spot. So I don't have to have like 500 workbooks everywhere all over the house. I just pull them apart at the beginning of the year, put them in one binder, and that's it, and label them. So it just keeps the clutter down when I could just put everything in one spot. And then this one This one is my youngest daughter's. Again, it's one of those flex binders. She likes to be able to do this as well with the binder, but any worksheets that I know we're going to be using for a certain science unit or for history or things like that, I will put in here at the beginning of the school year, because these ones are more for supplemental use, where we only use them as needed. This one is stuff I know that they're going to be using. So all of their history worksheets and science worksheets for their unit are in here, and it's all in one spot. They each have their own. They know where it's at. I don't have to get anything together. So that's how we store those like loose pages and worksheets and stuff like that. So when they were younger, I was able to use this accordion file. This accordion file is pretty neat because, you know, it's an accordion file, but then it's also a binder. So we kind of use this in the same way that we now use these. We would store the answer keys in the front, in the binder, and then we would, you know, hold their worksheets and stuff like that for different subjects in the back. So, I mean, it's just another way to do it, but I, again, color coordinate my kids. So pink was for Lydia, purple was for Bella. These worked for a while. It's just my kids started taking more subjects, and I started to run out of room in the binder, like, side of this. So I ended up switching to these flex binders. So one of the last things I have to show you is, now this isn't the way you have to store your pens, you know, but I found it so much easier to store all of our pens, drawing, scissors, glue, that we're currently using in one container that could be moved to the table. So we used to have individual little like bins for the kids, but they would have to run to the room to get it, or, you know, theirs were dried out and whatever. So whatever excuse there was, this was a solution for it. We put all of our pens, again, dry erase markers, glue, pencils, scissors, crayons, window markers, glitter pens, like all of the pens are in this here. So you can use a tote, you can use whatever you want, cups, bins, whatever. I just found that it's easier to have one area for your pens and your crayons and stuff, so that when we need to do arts and crafts, or if we need to draw or color, I just pop this on the table. I'm not over there trying to grab 50 bins of different coloring items. So I think that is it. I think so. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. You have a great day. Bye.